Maps are meant to be followed, not stolen. They hid away the real answers, but I'm here to decode them. What's going on? It's Khalil back with another one of Who Stole the Map. Man, I'm a true fan of hip hop. I've talked about this in some other segments. I talked about the latest Clips album, Let God Sort 'Em Out, man. Masterpiece. Masterpiece. One of my picks for album of the year so far. And I feel like it's really bringing the essence back to hip hop. They did some traditional interviews, the way they rolled the project out, they really showed they cared about the product. And I feel like it made the music that much better because the music was great. But I feel like the way they presented it made it seem like this is a Mona Lisa. This is, up there. And we have to respect it by presenting it in this manner. I've been seeing some debates going on recently. People talking about Alfredo 2 is what you guys thought, like God Sort 'Em Out was. Why are we comparing these two albums? Yes, they have 3 very great MCs on them. They're, rapping on all of them. They're pretty dope, and they're both, I would say, uh, projects and MCs that won't get the limelight shine that a lot of other artists like a Drake or Kendrick would. But I would say these albums couldn't be completely more different. I wouldn't compare them on a bad day. I wouldn't compare them on a good day. I talked about Let God Sort 'Em Out. This specific album is the Clips' love letter to their parents and their journey as brothers and their journey as a group and their journey as fathers and just their journey through life and to getting where they're at today. It tells that story. It actually has a story and a breakdown of all that behind it. It's not just them rapping. It's not just them rapping. Let me set that to the side. Because some people get on a project, some people get on a song, and they'll just spit. They'll just go out there and just boop, 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 boop. The entendres, the similes, they're just kicking it. This is that, but it's more because it has the substance behind it because of the story that's being told. It's art. Alfredo 2, Freddie Gibbs, amazing. Another one that doesn't get the shine he should because he puts out project after project that just banger after banger after banger. Production solid, rapping solid, man, artwork solid. Freddie Gibbs is not talked about enough. And if you like hip hop and you haven't heard of Freddie Gibbs or listened to his project, go listen to Alfredo 2. And don't even forget about Alfredo 1 because in my opinion, Alfredo 1 was better. I'm just going to leave that out there. So you're comparing these two albums, and there's no shade to Freddie Gibbs because he's an amazing MC. But you're comparing these two albums. Freddie Gibbs' album is a great album as well, but it doesn't have the substance that Let God Sort 'Em Out does. If you want to just sit there and just listen to raps and hear him talk, he had a few bars where he talked about, you know, having sex with someone and they're dropping him off at church. That's cool in terms of the bars and how it could be seen as 2 different things or 3 different things in terms of like an entendre, a triple entendre. But outside of that, I don't see how you could compare the 2. One is like an autobiography and the other is like freestyle. It's just free verse. It's just having fun on the track. And yeah, the song has a concept behind it, but ultimately it's him just talking his stuff. And that's typically, I would say, what a Clips or a Pusha T album would be in the past, where they have their drug bars and just rap and just spit, 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 and have that, technical writing and technical rapping ability displayed. But it's not here. This album is just like, if I were to rate it 1 out of 10, I would give the Clips album a 9, 9.5. I would give Freddie Gibbs' album like an 8, 8.5. Like it's there, but it's just missing that piece. It's missing that. And then the reason why I'm not saying it's a 10, the Clips album, because I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's not perfect, but every listen I've listened to, it's gotten better. So who knows? By the end of the year, I might give it a 10 because it's just grown, and that's where art kind of shines, just allowing it to just, okay, 5 years down the line, man, does it still provoke those same emotions, same feelings? The Clips are in there talking about the death of their mom and their dad and finding them and finding their way and making sure that their spirituality is in alignment with the decisions they're making. How could you compare that to what's being said on Alfredo 2? You can't. And I don't know why someone would. So I just want to take a pause and let's stop comparing albums that don't need to be compared. Let's sit down and appreciate great hip hop because we've gotten some good albums, some great albums, I would say as well over the past decade or so. But this moment we're having in 2025 where these albums are just flying out and the quality is there. I'm not sure if you guys heard this new JID, whatever you want to call him, Jid album, God Does Like Ugly. That's another one that's amazing. Like, it's another amazing album. I wouldn't rank it above God Sort 'Em Out, but it's up there. Like, I think this is probably going to be JID's best project. From what I've heard of him, I've listened to him over years and you can hear the growth and he's not just sitting in a box. He's using different cadences. He's speeding up his rap, slowing it down, dope chorus, dope hook, dope concept. And it really just encompasses who he is as a person, as an artist. That is what artistry is about. So, and I know it's the pot calling the kettle black here. We have people that think because they have a phone, they have the rank and the knowledge and the depth to be able to say something is good or it isn't, or something is better than. But some of these people are just saying things for clicks. Some of these people are just saying things because these two albums shouldn't even be in the same bucket together. Yes, they're both rap albums, but they're totally different. Like, I wouldn't compare Illmatic to Reasonable Doubt. I know a lot of people would because of the tension between a Jay-Z and a Nas and, what those albums mean for their career. But I wouldn't compare them. They're two different things. Illmatic is a story that paints a picture of what it's like living in Queensbridge and seeing all these things happen to your family and friends and being the kind of spider on the wall and being able to illustrate it in such a beautiful way and articulate it and make people feel like they're in the room with that spider and seeing what's going on and throughout Queensbridge. That is an artist. That is art. Not saying Jay-Z's isn't art, but it's a different type of art. You have him, Jay-Z is a braggadocious rapper. He's talking his mafioso rap and talking specifically about how he navigates the music industry and his business similar to how the mob operated their business and how he's figuring out how to make it out of this double life he's living, wanting to rap but not being a rapper, being a hustler and wanting to make it out, but that can also be connected to everything else and anything else when it comes to business, of how to figure out who's for you and who's not, how to navigate the trenches, how to get through and find and point out the snakes that are trying to take you down. Those are two totally different albums and two totally different sounds. They're two total different concepts. So why in the world would I compare the two? I think we really need to stop doing that in hip hop because I don't think it's done a lot in other genres of music. Why are we comparing these things that don't need to be compared? It's like comparing sweet potato pie and apple pie. They're both good. They're both good for their own specific reasons, and they're both good for their own, kind of time of the day. Sweet potato pie is amazing. It's great, but maybe it's better around that. There's just a special feeling with sweet potato pie around that Thanksgiving time. Apple pie might not hit the same. I'm not sure if you're feeling what I'm feeling, but these are my thoughts on this. I'm loving what hip hop is doing in 2025. I'm excited going into 2026 about hip hop. Man, this got me wanting to rap again. I used to rap back in the day, and just seeing what's come is amazing. And I'm excited. At a point, I was feeling a little bit depressed about the state of hip hop and what it was bringing, but we're getting it back. And some of these people are over 40 years old, spitting like they're 25. So those are my thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. Man, this is Who Stole the Map. It's Khalil, and I'm out of here.